Hello, my name is Mrs. Alice Stokes, and I'm going to talk to you today about how English is taught here at Harrow Beijing Lower School. We use the system Talk for Writing. We start this system with what we call a cold write. That is an assessment where the children write from a particular genre, given a stimulus, but not much else. This is so the teacher gets an idea of what they are able to do before the unit begins. So the first stage of Talk for Writing after the baseline assessment is the imitation stage, which starts off with a hook. That is something really exciting that hooks the children in and gets them ready and excited to write. After we've done the hook, we start with the model text. We read the model text, we story map the model text, we box up the model text. We become so familiar with the model text that it's internalized within the child, so that they have a model ready to go in their head. So the second stage for Talk for Writing is the innovation stage. In this stage, we start to substitute words from the model text and make it our own, whilst still hugging close to the text if needed. We use short burst writing, where the teacher will model writing with the children, focusing on specific criteria that the children will be assessed upon later in their hot write. Once the children have discussed and explored ideas for substitutions and for making the story their own, they will begin to plan and box up their own story, getting ready for their independent write. So the third stage for Talk for Writing is the independent stage, where the children take their planning from the last stage and they write independently. The children that are perhaps new to the language or less able will hug closely to the model text, making a few substitutions to make it their own. The older children and those who are perhaps more familiar with English will be expected to embellish the model text, to add paragraphs, perhaps flashbacks, maybe add a different perspective from a different character, but still basing it upon the genre and the structure of the model text. Finally, the children will write a hot write. This is their own independent write based upon the genre and the structure and the learning criteria they've studied throughout the unit. And this hot write will be compared against the cold write written at the beginning of the unit, so that the teachers can assess what learning has taken place and where the gaps still are, so they can plan accordingly in the future. So, Talk for Writing is the approach we use for writing, but of course, English as the entire subject also includes reading, amongst other things. And this is our beautiful lower school library, where each class comes for at least one lesson every week, and the children take 4 books, one of which is a levelled book according to their zone of proximal development code, which is based at their reading level, and 3 books that they can choose. It's very important they choose something that they want to read, so the motivation is there. One of those books could be non-fiction, and of course one could be Mandarin. In the lower school library, you will find the library subway system. This is based on the London Underground map, where if children have particularly enjoyed a certain book, an author or a genre, the map will make suggestions from where they can go from here to find other books that are similar perhaps, and this way they will find a whole spectrum of fabulous books and wonderful authors. So now I want to talk about home reading. As well as the books the children bring home from our library, they also have the option to choose from our digital library, Myon, where there are thousands of books at their own level waiting for them. And at the end of each book there is a quiz to ensure they have comprehended everything they have read. In this way, the system measures how many words they've read, how many books they've read, and this informs the teacher and allows the teacher to support both the child and the family in the child's reading journey. Recently, in the whole school assemblies, we've been giving out prizes for both the classes and the individual students who are achieving very highly on these programs. And to give an example of the achievements we're observing here at Harrow Lower School, the last winner of the gold prize had read over 2.5 million words. It's absolutely astonishing. So, this is a reason to be motivated and get reading right now.